Hello, friends. Welcome to the Ancient Health Podcast, where East meets West. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Motley. Today, I have a new friend, Heath Evans, who is a former NFL player. You spent 10 years in the NFL, won a Super Bowl.
I did.
With the Saints, right?
That's right.
And you Bostonian, too. You know, you're...
I've been a little bit of everywhere. Seattle, Boston,
places.
New Orleans.
Which was your favorite place?
I love New England.
New England.
And the Saints fans get a little angry, right? Because I won my ring in New England. I have 18-1 on my blemished record with the Patriots. That might have been the hardest year of my life.
The last game. Oh, yeah. Keep going.
But the Saints fans are always like, oh, whatever, you won our ring here. I'm like, I know, but the Saints never would have wanted me if it wasn't for Belichick and Brady and Mr. Kraft and the Patriot way that taught me how to lead and kind of love my teammates that the Saints actually wanted to bring into their organization.
Yes. One of the things that on the podcast I wanted people out there to know is that one thing I really love about your feed and your post is your passion, and it truly is, it exudes. And I think that it's really good in healthcare to find people who are passionate about what they do. Yeah. You can tell, and I know we're going to talk about protein, we're going to talk about health, but I can see that in you. And so that's why I'm excited about this convo though too.
Well, Chrissy was updating me on how you deliver information, and no one would say you were passionless. So that's a good thing. But we do. I was with our friend Jordan Rubin just yesterday, and I'm like, hey buddy, you're missing the mark on this area of content. The greatest thing about you is how much you love people. Yes. I've called Jordan. Of course, I called him in 2005 to help Tom Brady. Well, who wouldn't help Tom Brady, right? Yeah. But I've also called him 50 other times with people from a church or a former teammate that no one would know or whatever, and he just drops down and he helps me, right? And then he's passing on this information that truly saves people's lives. And so, listen, money's good, fame's good. None of those things make people happy. Yeah. But when we can kind of give our lives away and show people that we really care about them, not for something that they can do for us, but what we can do for them. There's a lot of joy in life found in kind of giving our lives away.
Definitely. Did you feel in your career that there was like a metamorphosis as your career kept going, that you had to give your life away more and more as the years went by? Like things were coincidences or events were happening in your life. You're like, I have to lose myself to maybe the higher sources in life, right?
I mean, when I got to New England, I'd been in the NFL for 4 years. That's considered a veteran. Like you're kind of a seasoned vet. I realized really quickly, man, I didn't know anything about football, especially about truly winning ways that where like the team kind of got the glory. So Belichick has these marching orders of put the team first and do your job and be attentive, which on the surface level, people are like, sure, yeah, do your job and be attentive and work hard. People don't ever stop down to think about how hard those things are. Yeah. For one particular player to do his job, my job correlates directly to Tom Brady's health. Yes. If I don't do my job one time, he gets hit by some defender that's trying to break his back because they know they can get Tom Brady out of the game. They're probably going to win that game. But the mindset of selflessness in that it's never about the one and it's always about the team. And then when you get kind of like 53 alpha men to kind of humble themselves and like your touchdowns, your stats, your whatever out of the way, what's best for the team? And then the beautiful part is then everybody wins. Because when you win a lot, right, Chris and Heath, even though we might not have thrown the Super Bowl winning touchdown or caught it, we were on the team and we played an individual part of helping the team get there. And then those type of men just seem to kind of praise everyone around them because they realize how powerful team is. And so you think you know so much at times, and we just fail to listen and we fail to heed instruction. And the sad part is so many guys would come into New England just like me, but they wouldn't humble themselves. Yeah. And then they'd find themselves on the first train out of town, and then they missed out on all the glory and all the beauty of doing things as a team.
Wow. And like knowing that you could be an integral part within a huge wheel. You can be a good spoke in there. Like your work ethic, you can tell your work ethic. I watch videos and film on you and such. And when you're like running blocks for Brady and such, I mean, that had to put a pretty big beating on your body too. I mean, were you always a young man that liked to, love sports and loved hit full contact type events in sports?
At about 4 years old,
Really?
I knew I wanted to play in the NFL, and I was the punk little kid running my mouth to everybody. And so I heard a lot of, even from well-meaning people. I remember my dad's lawyer when I was 8. He said, "Little Heath, what do you want to do when you grow up?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play in the NFL." And I said it like it was brushing your teeth or putting on deodorant, like it was just something that you just easily do.
Yeah.
And I remember him just saying, "Yeah, the little guy doesn't have a clue how hard it is to make it." Right. And things like that. And I'm not like the most like cerebral guy that's always listening to everyone and taking everything in. But I do remember that as a little boy, kind of being like, "Oh, whatever, I'll show you." You know? But I had, listen, God gave me a lot of DNA that speaks to NFL fullback and aggression and, you know.
The strength and the muscle. Because, I mean, like when you were in the NFL, I know health was important.
Sure.
And you had to like work at it. But were you always, in a sense, like health minded when you were younger, or did it morph into something more and more as you progressed in football?
For sure. I mean, I remember my dad had always taught me to listen and learn and not have to live and learn. And he just always encouraged me, "Hey, keep your eyes open."
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you not to drink, and I'm going to tell you not to do drugs, and I'm going to tell you not to sleep around. But I want you to watch all your friends that do. And then if you like the fruit that comes from that life,
Oh, wow.
then go ahead. But Heath, what I promise you is you're not going to like any of the fruit that comes from that life. And so just watch people and learn.
Yes.
And listen, he was very honest with me about a lot of his troubles in life because he had to live and learn. And then they came with heavy consequences and a lot of heavy pain that not only affected him, but even my mom, et cetera. And so when it came to the nutritional stuff, I was always very key on like, I'm not as good as everyone else. So I can't afford to miss this or this or this because there are those that are better. But if I take care of this and this and this, then I'll catch them and eventually surpass them because I'll be better conditioned. I'll be stronger. I'll have slept more. And so there was some kind of like, I guess, foundational truths that I just kind of grasped young that did serve me extremely well. And then now kind of building upon those foundational truths, we know, I mean, I wish I knew what I know now about nutrition and sleep and hydration when I was playing for my decade-long career. Brady really started to kind of catch on the last decade of his career, and then we all saw him at 42 playing really better than he was at 23. And a lot of that had to do with nutrition.
Wow. And in the NFL, do they emphasize nutrition to you, like the teams? Do they, I mean, like you go to training camp, because I have no idea, like training camps, your work ethic, do they have like good meals and stuff there?
In New England, yes.
Wow.
I think pretty much everywhere now, and I say I think, you know, I've been out of the NFL Network, NFL on Fox game for almost 8 years. And so I don't know hands-on like I used to know. But when I got to New England, there was not a fryer in that chow hall.
Really?
There were not sweets. There were not desserts. There was nothing that wasn't going to build a healthy machine. Now, they had nuts and they had every fruit you could possibly imagine. And every day you were going to have a chicken option, a fish option, a beef option. They were going to feed that team according to each individual's likings. When I got to New Orleans, I remember kind of almost being taken aback, you know, and I had kind of been washed like by the culture in New England of just how you do things. And Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, you know, the head coach at the time, and Mickey's still the GM. They're like, hey, we want what New England's got, right? And so part of the reason we're coming to get you is because we want you to help build this pedigree in this culture here that's going to win, and not just win once, but win and win and win. So when I got there, I said, hey guys, one of the things, this food is not good, right? And Sean, I remember Sean smiling at me. He's like, Heath, we just got to bite off what we can chew. You know, I've worked with ownership and they've given us a lot, but they're just not going to spend much more right now. But so there was an owner who, in some ways, Mr. Benson was very good and loved the team. But there was a price point there he was willing to go to truly invest in what was best for the overall team to win. Now, we were super talented. We went on to win a ring. But Mr. Kraft and Belichick in New England, there was no price tag on success. Whatever the check needed to be, Mr. Kraft was fully on board, whether it was floating salt pools for help us recover, the next PT that's better, that's going to help us strengthen our knees or our backs, whatever it was, chiropractic care, Mr. Kraft was all about it. There was no stone left unturned. But sadly, a lot of people are about the bottom dollar. And in the NFL, all the owners split all the revenue.
Really?
So if the Bengals win one game, well, I won't knock on the Bengals. Let me knock on the Browns. If the Browns win one game, right, and the Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl, both those owners get the same revenue shared amongst them.
What?
So some owners in greed will just kind of sit back and just be like, well, I'm going to collect my check no matter what. Other owners are like, no, we're about this business and we're going to win.
Yeah.
Mr. Kraft was about that business and he wanted to win.
Wow. So I love talking. We're going to get into health because I love this.
Listen,
but I think
stuff.
stories and people knowing you, like that's the biggest thing for me when we do any type of like, conversations. But what was one of the best for you, like stories? Like you could say personally, you were like, that was a crazy moment in the NFL.
So my 5th year in the NFL started with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I was apparently not good enough for them, so I started at fullback for the first 6 games, and they cut me. They didn't want me.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Belichick did. So praise God, I ended up in New England.
Yeah.
But it was 6 games into that 5th year. Well, I enter into the facility the first day after they signed me, and there's a long hallway, and this hallway's probably 150 feet, so it's a length.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Brady passes the end of the hallway, and I lose sight of him for about probably 2 seconds. He obviously backpedals, comes down this long hallway, and shakes my hand. Hey, Heath, I'm Tom. It's really good to have you here. Great to meet you. If you need anything, you just holler. Well, he introduced himself like I didn't know who the heck Tom Brady is, right?
Yeah.
And he introduced himself like he was just like me.
Yeah.
He had just won his 3rd Super Bowl ring. He had just won his 2nd MVP. He's Tom freaking Brady. He's basically the king of the NFL.
Yeah.
And the humility factor that I saw in him, then over the course of the next 4 years, that's just what was expected there. And so again, this kind of culture that Belichick started, most people wouldn't look at Bill and be like, oh, that's a humble man.
Yeah.
But anyone that knows Bill is going to outserve, outwork, outperform, outdog days anyone. There's no one that's going to outserve Bill to best prepare his team. That man slept on the couch all day, every day during the season. I mean, he wasn't going home. He was pouring his life into this team. And that really taught me how superstars should be. Obviously, I was never a superstar in the NFL. But that kind of one moment where Brady had been raised right by mom and dad, but had also found a culture in the NFL amongst a bunch of mostly arrogant jerk type men.
Yeah.
And he was the exact opposite. And then you see kind of this whole team kind of breathe that same air of like, this is just the way to do business. Let's just love on people. Let's outwork everyone. Let's turn over every stone to win as many games as we can. And then let's just kind of leave it all on the field. And then we'll just let the chips fall where they may, because if we give it our best, win, lose, or draw, we're going to have a lot of fun trying to be great together.
Yeah.
And that culture just speaks to so many things of even how Chrissy and I try to raise our kids. Like, if we live a life that's me, we're the most selfish, unhappy people in the world. The people that are the happiest people are people that are just kind of like, yeah, it's not about me and life's hard, but I'm just going to really enjoy it. And I'm going to do my best for other people. And I'm just going to care and kind of just give myself away. And that's just a good way to live life. And Tom Brady did it.
I think I heard they usually tell you all these statistics, and it was really cool you said that, because they would say that people who keep their minds out of depression are people who literally have somebody they serve. Like in their life, they had these studies that they said if you were like trying to serve and care for others, like that it keeps you out of depression because you have something to work for. And I think that's like it's really evident about like your energy too. I just can tell that your heart has excitement and passion, and you also have a heart to serve. Like, does your emotions, your spiritual life, does that have like a big say, like with everything you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I grew up in a Christian family, and my mom and dad did not fake the funk, and they were both, even in the world would say, they were great sinners. They had some vile behaviors and practices that even the world that's non-Christian would look on. That's not good, right? Yeah. And yet, when they came to know Jesus, their lives just changed.
Wow.
And of course, they weren't perfect, and they were still selfish at times, but they just had an eternal hope that really changed their life. And so I grew up around that, and I thought from 8 years old on, I would have told you until I was 38 that I was a Christian. And I never really lived this hypocritical life that people, even in the NFL, would have been like, oh, Heath talks it, but he doesn't live it. I had a season of life where just very shameful acts on my part, broke up my first marriage, and I tried to own that the best I could. And so I've never been this outright hypocrite. But at 38 years old, my life kind of came crashing down around me. Myself and Marshall Falk and Donovan McNabb and Warren Sapp. There was like 8 of us at NFL Network. Were accused of sexual harassment by one woman. She had been fired about a year previous, had tried to sue the NFL. Her case got tossed out of court. About a year later, when the Me Too movement kind of rose up, she does the same lawsuit with 15 John Doe names attached to it. 8 went public. And I'll spare you all the details, but in 9 months later, the league knew I was innocent. They used all my testimony, all my phone, all my text, everything to kind of get a settlement with this woman. And then they tried to get me to go away quietly by paying out my contract and everything else. Well, I refused to sign their non-disparagement agreements and all the other things, and they ended up firing me for some personal pictures that I had on my NFL Network phone. All that being said, at that point in time, I knew enough about God that I could run back to God, and that as a loving father, he would embrace me. Well, for the first time in my life, I started reading the Bible, and my eyes were open to the real truth about who God is. And equally as important about who I am, and that I had never consciously thought myself better than other people. But I lived like it internally. And it was such a deceptive evil that even most people that knew me, they would say I was brash, and they would say I'm bullheaded, a rhino, my beautiful bride.
She's like,
yeah. But most people would be like, no, he loves people, right? But I realized that I did not love God, and I did not love people, and that it had always been a burden. Like, it was heavy for me to do the right things according to God's word. Well, God changed that. And then when I realized that he had kind of done all the work to save my soul, and that before my creator, I was created innocent, like that my lies and my lust and my past adultery and all my pride and all my arrogance because of what Jesus had done wiped away my sins. It was my works. I could never be good before God. I could never be holy, but Jesus did it for me. That changed everything for me. And God changed everything in me. The scriptures talk about like he ripped out a heart of stone that hated God. And my actions proved it. They looked worldly good, but according to the standard of scripture, I did not love God, and I loved me, and I loved puffing up me, and I loved doing good things like giving away millions of dollars and charity events and all these things for the right reason, but it all reflected back on me. And that changed. And then when I realized how unloving I was, and yet God loved me, that makes you love other people.
Oh, man.
Whether you see the world the way I do or not, whether we agree on politics or even Christ, it doesn't matter. Jesus loved the very people that murdered him. And that's the life that I want to live. And so I am nowhere near perfect, and that's why I need Jesus. But in that moment, when I was at my rock bottom, kind of lost everything, except for my health and the health of my 2 oldest daughters, God showing me who I am and all my evil and all my sin, and that he loved me no matter what. That changed me. And then now my heart has new desires. I love loving my wife, and I love laying my life down for her. I love serving my children. I love being here with you today, even though we just met. I love loving people. Before it was a burden, and now it's a great joy.
Oh, man. I could stop the interview right there. That makes my heart feel warm. I mean, seriously. I mean, that to me, does it translate as it translates through your life? Like, you see how your emotions and spiritual life moves through, and you know, that season has, you've passed, maybe you go back to doing stuff on NFL Network. We never know. Yeah. But since that season's passed and you had the spiritual feelings of awakening, did that translate into you like creating things for health? Like when you started to make your own line, like what was that passion? Because did it focus in on that, like to help others, or just always been a passion in your head? Yeah,
well, I've always been passionate about performance. It's such a crowded space.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, I think people talk about self-doubt like it's a bad thing. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's good to be like, is this wise? I mean, should we move into this space? But the more we kind of looked at the space, and I say we, it's Chrissy and I, and Jordan Rubin's been such a great asset for me just to be able to call and talk to. I mean, he built Garden of Life and he built Ancient Nutrition, like these massive, I mean, like you'd be blessed to
Huge.
run these type companies, right?
Totally, yeah.
And so he's been such an awesome resource for us to go to. And he has helped Chrissy with her thyroid and really so much of my passion for performance. It's equal to how Jordan was able to help Chrissy with her thyroid. And for all those at home, Chrissy is my beautiful bride that's way smarter. She's the boss of everything. I love loving her. She takes care of me. She is the best helpmate in the world. But there was just so many different things that kind of kept pointing us back to, like, we have good stories and we have a unique blend of like a lot of maybe excellence that people don't normally see. I mean, Chrissy lost over 150 pounds. I played in the NFL for 10 years. Like we just have these kind of cool niches that people kind of cling to at times.
Yeah.
And yet we always want to operate in truth that's really going to set people free, whether that's in their health or in their walk with God, all those different things. And so I do think that from what has God commanded me to do to glorify him and enjoy him forever, part of me enjoying walking with the Lord is loving on other people with truth. And you know better than I do how many lies and the nonsense that's out there in the health and wellness space that tricks people and fear mongers people, and then it pollutes their mind and it sends them into a depressive state.
Yes.
Especially female hormones. And we could go on for days and days and days. Our heart is to, you and Jordan have these beautiful brains that can talk about nutrition and all and I'm just kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm a nobody when I listen to you guys. But we have a voice that kind of meets the masses from y'all's brilliance that can almost kind of simplify things at times to an audience that would probably never listen to you, but they'll listen to us. But they need your wisdom, and we get to deliver your wisdom in a palatable way where then I need to start eating some more red meat.
Yeah.
And I better take my butt to bed at night because my body needs sleep. Yeah. And water isn't good enough. So I better get some electrolytes and some minerals to really help me get hydrated so I can think right and perform right and do all these things. So we love people. We love being here with you. And I think the basis of Viscera, which is a play on the word visceral, because we know that if you can get rid of visceral fat and you can maintain visceral strength, core strength for a long time, you're going to live a long time. And so we want core muscle and we want to burn core fat. And if we can do that, male or female, chances are, unless a bus hits us, which tomorrow's not promised, we're going to live a long time.
Definitely. When you talk about taking information and you can take it to the masses, there's people that will listen to your voice primarily. Like that's the truth. Like people like the voices they listen to. Like there's a natural gravity to it. And do you find that with Viscera? I love the name because when Jordan told me the name, I was like, that is a cool word. I mean, basically like with the organs and with kidneys, and in the Chinese medicine world, when you put kidney in this protein, I mean my ears perked up because when you're talking about hydration and when you're talking about the basic tenets, did you find like people do just forget the basic tenets that are there for natural, like you're saying, taking your minerals, taking your electrolytes, and did you the masses need it? Yeah. They need it. Like, did you find that there's a huge need for it?
We see it. Chrissy's helped over 12,000 women lose weight through one-on-one coaching or group coaching or supplementation, and people just don't know. Yeah. And yet then people are kind of they gravitate towards information, but so much of the information is disinformation.
Yes.
And we do, by God's grace, have some trusted names that people listen to us. I've never seen women respond and relate to another woman as well as they relate to Chrissy. But our passion really is people. And so for us, we always want, people need protein, people need to be hydrated, and then we need to help people heal their guts. If we can get people digesting food better, we've won, right? If we can get people hydrated, they're going to digest their food better. And then guess what? Then they'll sleep a little more soundly at night. And all these things start to connect. And then I always say that protein is like the building block of every other building block. Like if we're deficient, we might win in small ways, but we're really losing. Like we've got to feed and fuel the body. And so we've tried to create a line that starts with our protein, right? The A2 protein. People are like, what the heck is the A2? The simple thing about A2 is A2 cows are basically healthy cows that produce healthy milk that are very equal to mother's milk. And so this ratio of whey protein to the A2 beta casein, you have a fast absorbing protein and then a more sustained one. And you get the clinical term is bioavailable. What does that mean? It means your body actually digests what we've created. And then all of the people that have all the dairy intolerance, whether that be the nasal congestion or the gut irritants, zip, zero, zilch with A2 dairy. And so if we can get people taking more protein and then like, hey, well, this creatine, I thought that's like a meathead thing that you take, Heath. It is, because it's really good at helping us sustain and build muscle.
Yeah.
But, I was telling your girlfriend when we walked in, like, we believe everyone on the planet, male and female. I'm saying this, Heath Evans, not my wife. We think your kids need to be on. I say we. Chrissy gets, you're going to get us sued, all this stuff. Like, no, like, we need creatine. We need collagen. We need these things. And so, yeah, I'll shut up. I get super excited about this stuff.
I love the passion. I love passion. Like, one of the basic tenets, and I was talking to Jordan about this before, about digestion, health. And most of us would think like we just want to make sure we prevent leaky gut, which is a big thing when we're talking about collagen. But with your hydrate formula and with your creatine and the mixture, one of the biggest things I'm impressed with is when you heal up the body's ability and you help it digest quicker. They always say in Chinese medicine, you got to make sure that the body ripens the fruit or the food better. So you don't want food to rot.
Yeah.
So when your stomach digests it, and it sticks into small intestine, it starts to translate it, you can't let it rot. And so when enzyme health is at its highest peak, you'll feel younger and look younger. That's just old Chinese medicine. That's what I loved about it. Like when you had the kidneys in there, the one thing that I could tell from your formula is it's going to give you energy. It has to. Have you noticed like your energy gets better and stronger?
Listen, our hydrate is a powerhouse. And so many of our women, really what I say our women, we coach and we just try to love on people and get them back to health. But so many people have digestion issues, which then leads to bathroom issues, right?
Yes.
And so we have this kind of generation of women and some men that are just like chronically just kind of not going to the bathroom, which is not good, right? No. So humic and fulvic acid, the kind of the powerhouse of our powder hydrate formula, and then our capsule, we have jam-packed them in here. And humic fulvic acid, let me try not to bore anyone.
No,
let me try to encourage you.
I love this.
If we think about food and nutrients and absorption, our body, if it's in perfect working health, our body knows exactly where to push nutrients and then kind of excrete the waste, right? Well, because of all of our modern food and trash that we eat and all the other things, our bodies don't work in optimal fashion. So the humic and fulvic acid that we have jam-packed in here, and they're in our powders as well. Think of it this way. Every bit of good food, it's going to be pushed to where it needs to go. And anything that's in your system that needs to be out, it's going to get it out of where it needs to go out in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Chrissy and I have been regular my whole life. In God's kindness, I've never really been sick. But Chrissy and her weight journey of losing 150 pounds and trying all these different fasts and juice cleanses, and you can imagine the damage that she's done to her body. So she has kind of struggled with constipation really ever since she used to be close to 300 pounds. And even now, being at a healthy weight for the last decade, it can still be a challenge and an issue. But the hydration formula and those two acids, along with the other, just the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients that are punched in there, it's just a game changer, especially for the women that do struggle with regularity.
Because we hear, I know, Chrissy, like when you're coaching individuals, when working with patients, I don't think it's uncommon for some people to come to us and say, "Hey, I haven't pooped in like 3 days."
Crazy, right?
And you're like, you haven't, how many days?
Right.
I know that you've heard the stories. I had one lady I felt so bad for her because she would bloat up every time after she ate. She would have that midday, the afternoon fatigue. And sometimes she would go almost 9 days. And she said she would eat and she would feel it stuck right here. And I felt so bad for her. But whenever you get the bowels to flush, to me, that's like the first sign. And when you had hydrate formula, I'm just saying because you don't see a lot of products out there that are there for hydration, actually put some fluid back into the intestines and give something to feed the walls. With that, when you guys coach individuals, see them like losing weight and their metabolism get stronger. I am totally with you though. How important is muscle building? Because I mean, when you say like young kids, I think young kids should start learning how to build muscle when they're young.
Amen. But listen, I am proof positive that even lifting weights in a right form, healthy way does not stunt your growth. more of that misinformation. I remember growing up, everyone told my dad's like, you're going to stunt Heath's growth and this and that. And it's like, dad's like, well, maybe we'll see. You know, he's like an old school Marine that just was like, well, I just kind of want to help my son get strong and achieve his goals of playing in the NFL. And he just thought he'd be a bad dad if he didn't help me get strong and stay in shape.
Yeah,
and so but then I got to the NFL and periodically you'd run across similar stories of dads 6, 7, 8 years old, just helping their sons. They wanted to play ball. So dad's just kind of jumping in the pit with it. We're going to work out. We're going to do push-ups and pull-ups. We're going to learn how to bench and squat and do these things. 6'4", 285, ripped to shred monsters. I don't think it stunted their growth.
No, not at all.
We need to do it healthily. No. But protein, even just training the next generation, right? As parents, it is a must. It's not a recommendation. We are supposed to train our children with truth. Mm-hmm. We have 4 adopted kids. Our 4 adopted kids came out of some of the most traumatic cases you can think of.
Yeah.
And they were being malnourished was their least trauma when they got to us.
Yeah.
But watching how food over the last 2 years has transformed their bodies, going from cereal every day to they haven't seen cereal in 2 years, right? But now these kids, they live on steak and eggs and they're like, Dad, am I going to be buff like you one day? You know, it's like, but they're energized around truth and they have seen the benefits of what good steak and good eggs. I mean, our home, every morning, there's 22 eggs being cracked out on the hibachi grill.
That's awesome.
And I'm jacking them all up and, you know, trying to fry Christy's 2 eggs over here and not overcook those while I'm doing all the scrambled eggs for the rest of us. But those kids, they love their fruit. They love their steak. They love their raw A2 milk from the local farm. They love this stuff and they see the benefits. And so, it's, I don't even know how we got here. Right now I'm talking about my kids. I'm about to cry and everything else.
I love the passion. That's what people like to see, the passion about it, because when you guys were working with individuals to help lose weight, so I'm not just saying it's all about losing weight and, but, you're passionate about it. Yeah. And so you've seen firsthand experience when Chrissy went through it and she dropped, weight that was inflammatory to her body. Is there the connection between like good protein, good eggs, good steak, and this to help you with burning your metabolism better?
Absolutely. And I know we own a supplement company, but it's called a supplement for a reason. If we're not eating healthy and if we're not doing our work in the kitchen and with our disciplines to eat the good foods, our supplements are not a savior. Right. They are a good added resource that are going to benefit you in numerous ways, but they're not miracle workers. Food, we believe, is a miracle worker. We believe that God created it as medicine, but it's also been poisoned. And so we need to be wise in what we eat. But there's just no better, greater food on the planet than an egg or a good piece of red meat. And I always challenge people. I know what they've been told, right? I went through this wave, like when I was kind of moving out of the NFL where this, vegetarian space was starting to move in. And I'm not going to mention any names, but I witnessed, if not the best running back in the league, top 3 running back in the league, start training with his brother and start doing rubber bands instead of weights. And then I watched him go from a diet kind of like I grew up on to a complete vegan diet. And 6 weeks into the first season after he started it, he ripped his hamstring far off the bone that he never got back right. And no one will ever convince me that if his body had been fed right, like it had for 28, 29 years at that point, that he ever would have had an injury that severe. Yeah. He was just calorically and nutrient deficient. And in the gladiator sport of football, our body needs a lot of protein and it needs the right protein. But our kids need it, our mamas need it, our grandmas need it. I'm on my mom all the time. Eat your red meat, eat your eggs, get your butt out and go for a walk and all those things. Because these are the truths, the simple truths that if we do, protein alone will save people's lives. Yeah. If people would just get in enough protein, I tell them all the time, especially for men much easier than women, but we believe more food is the cure, not less food. Wow. Our women come to us all the time. They're like, Heath, you have me eating 2,000 calories. I'm not in a caloric deficit. I'm supposed to be eating 1,252 calories. I'm like, what idiot told you that, right? Like nobody can live off 1,250 calories, right? Our little 6-year-old Noelle, she's gotten 2,000 calories a day and she's a little muscular beast that over the last 2 years has gotten really healthy. And so we've got to beat down these lies, but protein is the one we start with. We need to fuel the body. And this is the building block that we have to start with.
I do have a special kinship when we talk about collagen because, Dr. Axe and Jordan will talk about collagen. And when you start studying it, one of the biggest things that I love hearing about collagen when you're talking about like a nutrient deficient diet.
Yeah.
Is the ability for like the cross linking, like within your connective tissue.
Yep.
And I just see like with football players, I mean, it is crazy how many hits you guys get hit with. I mean, people, like I do a lot of muscle testing and muscle balance. That's all I did was structural work when I first started with the acupuncture and such. But the amount of angulation that you would get hit, you'd have to be able to take stress. Like you'd have to, and all the micro tears that your ligaments take at a time, and then be able to jump back up and, you know, shake it off and go back out. I'm like, that is to me one of the biggest things. So now when we're talking about the lays, you said, okay, I'm only eat 1250 a day, 1250 calories. And I go back to what you were talking about before. I think that is it that our digestion gets so damaged because we're eating the regular diet and the acids get really warped. We can't tear apart our foods. We're not absorbing the nutrient from the food and possibly going down. It's not really digested. And then we get constipated.
Sure.
Is that like one of the actions that can happen?
I think so. I just think we're being attacked with so many different forms of pollution, right? Some of it's just, we're not educated. We don't sleep. People are addicted to their phones. So I ultimately think the way our bodies are created, that if we're well rested and if we stay hydrated, our bodies are going to heal from pretty much everything. Sleep is just, it's the greatest steroid in the world, right? Ooh. And then when you look at true hydration, and not just water, right? But if like I always say, and I don't know if it's the right percentage, but I'm like, if you find a good doctor, he's going to tell you that 90% of chronic disease is caused by chronic dehydration. It's just amazing when we get people just like, you know, just hydrated, how much better they feel. Wow. They sleep better, they digest food better. Like everything just kind of falls in working order to some degree. Obviously, people have varying degrees of illness and sickness and age and all the different pollutants. I mean, my dad is 76 years old. You know, he has 650 testosterone score. His test score is better than mine. He's had prostate cancer. He's had his prostate removed. He has so many reasons to have a low test, but the generational kind of benefits of good food, good water, good milk from this past generation that now has been polluted with us and our children. Like we've got to change the curve back to real truth. But ultimately, you know, this hydration piece and sleep piece are, we have kind of an order of how we address things. Yeah. And food is actually our last one because it's such an idol and it's such a hang up for so many people. Wow. They're so kind of emotionally disturbed about food. I've been told to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's like they freak themselves out. Yeah. And so we kind of start in this order of like, hey, I want to start with your hydration, right? For ours, we're a Christian coaching company. So we kind of start with the holiness of God, of who God is and what does God say about us. But then we go right to hydration and then we go to their sleep and then we go to their movement or their workouts and then we get to their food. I'm sprinkling in protein as we kind of these first 3 or 4, because I want to slowly train their minds to think right about food and prioritizing protein. But the bodies are just, man, we're just awesome. We do simple things. You know, in Chinese medicine, I remember the first time I had acupuncture. I'm like, are you a witch doctor? I'm like, he took my shin splints away in literally about 60 seconds. And I'm like, what? This thing's been hurting for weeks. I'm like, where have you been? So our bodies are built to heal. We just kind of have to position them rightly.
I really love when we talk about hydration because you guys are on the ball. I mean, I'm not the judge of it, but it's just so great that you're talking about putting the hydration back into the key of it. One thing I was reading the other day, like I'll get in these nerd modes where I'll just start reading like physiology books. And so one of the things about hydration that when you're forming in the womb, that the first organ that forms before your heart is your kidneys. It's a whole long kidney tubule that has 3 parts. So when you are addressing, that's why I loved it. You're like, if you go to hydration, you're going to support the heart because the kidney chi feeds the heart. So your metabolism depends on how well your kidneys are hydrated. And that's why I love that. It's because when Jordan showed it to me, I was like, that's on the ball and I'm not the judge of anything, but I love it because it tastes good too. Yeah. So one of my buddies came over and he plays in a band I play and he's like a big dude like you. He's a strong, muscular guy. And I was like, Vorm, try this out. And you know, he's pretty picky, but you can tell he was like, man, that's really legit stuff. So when you started to formulate this, you and Chrissy, you guys got together and you say, okay, we're going to throw them in increments. Like,
Yeah.
And I got to get back real quick to the sleep. I love finding people's patterns. What is your like pattern of sleep? Do you like to get 8 hours or 10 hours or 5?
I wish. Yeah. We've got 3 dogs and 6 kids and some startup businesses. Like, listen, I want to get 6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends, I'm always going to sleep in with Chrissy a little bit. So what I try to look back on at the end of the week, I'm like, did I average 7 hours of sleep a night?
Yeah.
Because if I've averaged 7, right? Yeah. Now, that's not saying I can have, 2 nights of 4. Like, no one should be doing that. It happens, of course. But the consistency of when we go to bed and when we get up, that's, Jordan and I were talking literally just a couple hours ago. The body loves to know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Same foods, same regimens, kind of same time that you're supplementing. The body just, even in a performance track with weightlifting, the more you can consistently train at the same time of day, your body is just going to absorb nutrients better. You're going to feel better. Your body's going to kind of know when it's resting, all these different things. Routines matter. And so for us, in a perfect world, remember, we've got 6 kids and 3 dogs. So nothing's perfect in our home. But we like to try to be lights out at 10, right? Yep. And then depending on where we're at, I'm either going to be up, at 5 or 5:30. Most of the time, my wife loves talking at night. And I love serving my wife by listening to her late at night.
I'm not falling asleep, honey.
Doc, she's so kind to me. I'll literally fall asleep half the nights with my hand on her chest. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's gracious and kind to me. But I'm always pushing her to get 8.5. And then on the weekends, I'm letting her sleep in longer because I think she needs 9 every night. She's got a lot on her plate. She is the best wife and the best mom in the world. She's the CEO of Vicera. She has got a lot of weight and a lot of stress. She needs a rest. And so I'm going to prioritize her rest way more than mine.
They've had studies, and I don't like to just go by studies, but truly when patients come in and the mothers who have like at least, if they had more than 2 kids, and if they didn't have a lot of rest between children, or they're not getting that enough sleep, they literally, all the energy compartments of the body literally will be very deficient. And you'll see it in like their heart signals, their thyroid signals. So I always say that, literally for ladies, they need more sleep. Amen. And it's hard, like, and men too. That's why I love about your patterns, because if you're throwing you both are working with clients and patients, and you go, well, I'm going to throw in the protein in there. But I love it that you have patterns of routine of sleep and rest, because you're taking the foundation building blocks and putting these in there. Yeah. And do you guys, like, when you guys work with individuals, do you say, okay, we need 1 scoop of this, 2 scoops of this? Does each person get their own kind of regimen?
My guys vary. The women, we really work hard to get their protein at an accurate account. But a lot of times our coaching with the women is so much almost like encouraging them and counseling them to trust our opinions, because they've been so lied to, and listen, caloric deficiency is necessary at times, right? To lose weight. Yeah. But if we can just get women eating healthy, right? And we're probably in some ways the worst business people in the world, because we're always going to tell people the truth, right? Like, and I'll tell our clients kind of what I told you, like, if you're not eating healthy, right, quit wasting your money on us. And our supplements are not going to change your life. Yeah. But if you can listen to us, and over time, and we're not a fast game with our coaching, we're in it for the long haul. We think that hydration and sleep and protein, if a woman comes to us at 38, she's got 38 years of stinking thinking around hydration and protein intake and workouts and proper rest. Who am I to think that I'm going to change her in 90 days? But in 90 days, I can matter-of-factly convince her of the truth, in the sense of she's tested and tried it enough, where now she's starting to see the benefits of, like, oh man, I am sleeping better. And oh man, I'm not eating perfect. And I've only lost, 13 pounds in 90 days, but like, I just feel night and day better. And everything kind of starts to move in order, right? Yeah. Because a lot of times, I had a pastor friend just about 1.5 years ago. He didn't even need to lose 10 pounds, but he was exhausted from serving his wife and his 4 kids at the time, now 5 kids, serving our church, all these things. He's like, I thought I was going to have to do this perfect for like a month before I saw the benefits. I'm sleeping like a baby. I don't need an afternoon nap. I just feel amazing. He lost like 2 pounds. We just got all the crap food out of his system. Wow. And the body does what the body does. Wow. And so, we're really proud of these. The protein tastes great. We use monk fruit. There's nothing in there that any health conscious person should be concerned about whatsoever. It is,
What do people say? Because I'm all for it. I think that when people do get the junk out of their systems and you give them the right fuel for him to flush, and you're working with these products, what are some of your thoughts about when people talk about like A2 dairy? Like some people go like raw dairy, and some people get a little concerned. And what would you tell them?
I try to comfort them with the truth, right? You can kind of go revisionist history route, before the FDA and all this stuff. Yeah. People were way healthier, kids were living way longer, all these different things. But I just ask people to try it. Most people that come to us, for some rhyme or reason, I've earned their trust, right? Yeah. Or they've been drawn to Chrissy's story and just all the success that she's had. So they have some level of trust, right? I'll kind of lead them through different rabbit trails of thoughts in regards to, eggs or what people say is healthy. And then I try to get them to look at, okay, hey, let's just consider this truth. And then let's just look at kind of world population, American population, health, age range, all this stuff. So it's really easy when people start looking at the truth around, hey, this is the lies we've been fed and this is what it produces, right? Now let's go back a couple hundred years and look at when people were eating beef and eggs, living off the land, so to speak, what we call God carbs. Like, I love fruit. I can eat fruit all day long, every day. And for most of our clients, I can get them eating healthy amounts of fruit, even those that have insulin sensitivity issues. And it's amazing how like the good food just doesn't really affect them in the way that the crap food does. Yes. And so we try to care for people's souls. And when, it's like, I've believed lies. And when people would come try to convince me that I'm believing a lie, a lot of times I can get aggressive and angered and everything else. And so trying to convince people of the truth takes time and care for them. The good part about ours is ours tastes so good. I always busted Jordan's chops. I'm like, y'all made good products, but these things are nasty tasting. He's just like, whatever, they're not nasty. But so we went in, I'm like, hey, listen, I want all these bovine glandulars and I want this regenerative certified organic lifestyle. Like I want the best of the best.
Yeah.
But I wanted to taste really good.
Yeah.
So can we do that was kind of the first question. And Jordan's like, yeah. Jordan has never really wanted to use monk fruit. It's a little more expensive. There's all kinds of different business stuff and reasonings why. He's a way better businessman, so listen to Jordan. But this tastes awesome. It's really good for you. I mean, Chrissy puts the vanilla in her coffee every morning. The chocolate milk, I went to our guy and I said, bud, I need this nostalgic little boy, like Nestle's chocolate milk. Like this is what I want. Like I need our men and our women to be like, this is like childhood goodness.
Yeah.
And it is, but it's just packed with nutrient dense quality products that we all need.
No, I definitely have noticed too, when you take the products personally and people, that I could see that when they get a good product, the hair gets stronger, the skin gets better. Even my buddy, his skin has already looked better. And I was like, you've been doing it, haven't you? And he's like, yeah. But when we're talking about this this movement of saying, okay, we are going to take the bad food, we're going to replace it, and we're going to add this in, I do get historic too. Like when you look back in the days, like my grandmother worked on an old farm. Like my great-grandfather had an old general store. Basically, you would look at my grandmother's diet. All my grandmother and grandfather ate was like eggs, either bacon or sausage. My Nana, I would tease her, and I shouldn't have, but she passed when she was 93. And she would eat buttermilk biscuits in a cup, and she'd pour buttermilk on it, and she would eat it like a snack.
Sure.
Almost every night, my man. And I would say, Nana, like she'd be like, so help me Jesus, if you tell me that again, I'm going to eat this if I want to. All right, Nana. But the funniest thing was they didn't have like a lot of the bad foods, like the pesticides and everything on there. She literally, this, would eat biscuits and gravy that they got, and they had raw dairy. They drank raw milk. And I was like, yeah, apparently she's doing pretty good. So I'm not going to even touch. And she ate real food. So that's the movement that we need to eat real food. Yeah.
When you said movement, that woman worked too. Talking about growing up on a farm, I guarantee you at 93, she grew up in a culture of, women work. They work hard.
Yep.
And that culture is in some ways the most beautiful because they loved their husbands, they served their families. And those were like the women of the Bible that were just like class act, powerhouse, awesome women.
Yep.
Just nobody could knock. And in so many ways, the movement of work is just so good for our bodies. But just even to know these foods we were out, at the farm yesterday, just looking at the difference in soil that we use to kind of create these products, and listening to Jordan talk about all the different work that goes into regenerating the soil. So not just maintaining it, like maintenance is good, right? But when you're actually producing life in the soil, giving the soil rest, allowing these animals to feed off higher quality nutrition so that, yes, when we do use them to make our products, everything is just better. But your grandma, your Nana, is that what you called her? Yeah. I mean, that generation, they were just better than us in every way. They're tough as nails.
Tough.
Yeah.
And always with just the funniest stories. But to me, though, I'm thankful when we talk about this, like going back to in the sense like the old ways. And like I can tell with your passion. I like it when you say you're about to tear up, because when you have good resources, good ingredients, the right mindset behind it, things like this is going to work. And I can tell about you and Chrissy how you guys, you care about people, but I believe you guys can read people really well. I can just tell that. Like in Chinese medicine, you can look at facial diagnosis, and you can tell when people can look through people, see what they're really about. And I think it's a really good quality. So when you start cleaning all this stuff out, like you guys, you can tell are very spiritual, but is there an emotional quality that you guys have noticed? Like with your products, like people reporting to you saying, hey, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm letting, like things are releasing out of my body. Because like Chinese medicine, they always say if the organ gets clean, your emotions get clean. Is that anything like that ever happen?
We have our kind of reviews are always some of the most encouraging things. And I think some of the women that have listened to kind of Chrissy's instructions, part of the birth of Vicera was Chrissy's own thyroid issues, right? And then taking our blood labs, which were in range, right? So Chrissy got these numbers back regarding her thyroid, right? And, LabCorp was like, oh, this is good. Well, the functional medicine docs that we were seeing were like, this is not good. We run everything through Jordan. And so Chrissy picks up the phone and she's like, hey, what are you thinking? And this kind of just gives him the lay of the land of all that she knew at the time. Well, he tells her exactly what to go take. And it was within 2 weeks, there was this massive fix to the majority of stuff that she was feeling with her thyroid, just from energy, yes, but even just the cold, clammy hands, the hot and cold back and forth with her feet, all those different things. It wasn't months. It was weeks. And it was literally through like this bovine thyroid and we're like, we're in the health space. How did we not know about this? And so much of those type of responses are what we get. But even we talk a lot about hydration with our clients, and even you and I have kind of enjoyed this back and forth today. But people just don't understand the power of being hydrated. And it's sad because water is not enough really anymore. And then trying to bend people's mind to getting on the A2 raw dairy and really getting hydrated. But those are some of the best testimonies about, oh my gosh, not only have I enjoyed taking your products, like they taste really good, but I feel better. And a lot of times it hasn't because they've been putting our whole coaching process into work, right? That takes time. It's just been the simple changes of like, oh, I've just gotten hydrated. And oh yeah, I'm sleeping a little bit better, probably because I am hydrated. So many people, we live in such a anxious, depressed society because people are so me focused, right? And if they can get focused on the right things for the right reasons, health changes quickly most of the time.
Like I get inspired by this because one of the things that strikes my heart is when you talk about like just hydration, that people don't realize how hydrated they're dehydrated they are. Yeah. Like if you ask somebody today, you could ask them, say, how many glasses of water did you drink? I know it's not just water. Most of them say 3 cups, 2.
Right. If maybe.
One lady, this is the fun. It's not funny that she did this. One of the first ladies I treated, she literally drank, this is no exaggeration, 8 pots of coffee a day. Pots. She was a nurse. And she had the worst kidney function. I'm not making light of it or making fun of her, but when we talk about hydration, in Chinese medicine, the kidneys and the adrenals are like one unit. Because there's like the peritoneum, like basically is covering. And the contractile force around the kidney is what pushes the qi, the energy, electricity up to the heart. It also tells the liver to detox. So if somebody's not hydrated, their heart's going to suffer. and their liver's going to suffer. So that's why I'm just saying, like, this is why I love like the ingredients of this. And that's why I think people would say, oh man, everything feels better. And I'm like, yes, now you can poop. Okay. And this is going to be great.
Well, we tell like some of our clients, like first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, get up and punch in one of our hydrates, either the powder, get your 10 ounces of water with our limeade or our berry, or take your capsules and then tell me about your energy 30 minutes later. Right. Totally. And that's just literally most people, I hear people say everyone wakes up in a dehydrated state. I can understand what they mean, but if you've taken care of your body from a hydration standpoint, sleeping for 8 hours is not getting to a truly dehydrated state. But refreshing our system quickly in the morning with that good glass of water, our added vitamins and minerals and nutrients, it is a game changer. For me, I take our creatine and collagen, and I put these two together, and it is my focus factor. It is like. It's like a healthy Adderall in the morning to just sit in, lock in, study, focus, read, prepare content for the day, and it's changed me. And I've got the paperwork to prove that I need the Adderall, and I've always hated it. I hate the way it makes me feel. I hate how it curbs my appetite. Yeah. But when I say kind of our products put together, these two are it's our creatine and collagen with the caffeine has 100 milligrams of caffeine. And then I put our Ignite, which is it's a fat burner, but it's more a hormone stabilizer. It's my 3-hour Adderall in the morning, each morning, and it just locks and loads me. And there is no jitters, there is no crash. I'm healing my pancreas. I'm taking care of my kidneys. It's not an energy drink that I'm pounding that's destroying my liver enzymes and pancreas, So we're excited about our products. They work. People love them. They're helping people get healthy. And that's really, truly what we care about.
You can tell. Like, that's like when people know that they could have that sustained energy in the morning and have that focus, that in itself is the seller to me, though. And I'm really glad that, when Jordan told us, like, we need to get together and have a podcast, and I love interesting people, and I love hearing about people's stories. I know, like, when we do podcasts, I just love hearing the story because people see the passion behind it. And that's, people just to connect with people. And then this will follow. And man, time frames, I got to be careful, but I was like, where can people find you? Because I don't want at the end, I could keep asking questions, but where can people find you? Where can they find Viscera? Viscera.
Yeah, Viscera. It's okay. We call it Viscera. We just want you to take it because it's going to bless you.
Yeah.
So VisceraNutrition.com is the website. On Instagram at Heath Evans 44. My wife is at Weight Loss Hero. She is the brains of everything that we do. I love her to death. She's my best friend, my business partner, and listen, if we do something well, she did it. If something's wrong, it's my fault. And that's just the truth. But yeah, that's the easiest place. And we love when people reach out. We try to, Christy has a team that helps her keep up with her DMs. I'm an idiot. I try to do it all by myself. And so I can kind of fall behind at times. But it's that personal touch that people care about, right? And sometimes they get a word from you that can breathe, wind in someone's sails for a week, right?
That's
and so
right.
It's the same way we have these platforms. We need to care for people well.
That's right. And people know that when you care for people, they feel it.
Yeah.
And they see it.
Yep.
And I don't care if it's a video. I don't care if it's a blog. I don't care if it's a reel. They can feel it. They can see it. Yeah. And that's one good thing you can tell about you. Like, when sincerity is what people want. And sometimes I always ask, like, why would people come to me in the office all these years? And I was like, I may not be the best practitioner, but hopefully I'm sincere enough. Yep. But guys, this has been fun. I hope we can do it again. I'm not kidding. You're a great guy. I can tell already. And Jordan, a great suggestion. I'm glad we had you on this podcast.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Thanks so much. Guys, everybody, follow. If you know anybody that needs protein, any type of life advice, please send them this podcast. And from all of us here at the Ancient Health Podcast, we're so grateful you joined us. Until next time, take it easy. Have a good day.